So if you've been paying attention, I mean, really paying attention to the business world this past year, you've definitely heard the narrative, right? AI is changing everything.
Oh, absolutely. It's pitched as the must-have tool.
Yeah, the key to unlocking, massive productivity gains, making us all hyper-efficient knowledge workers, basically organizational nirvana.
We're told if you're not seeing these huge improvements, like right now, you must be doing it wrong.
Exactly. But our mission today is kind of different. We're going to dive into some pretty significant evidence that really challenges that whole story.
We are doing a deep dive into the Atlassian 2025 AI Collaboration Index. And this isn't some small survey.
No, not at all.
It's a global check-in. They surveyed 180 executives from Fortune 1000 companies, and get this, talked to 12,000 knowledge workers.
12,000 across 6 countries.
Yeah, so it's got breadth and depth.
And what this huge source tells us right off the bat is something they call the AI paradox. Okay, so here's the deal. Daily AI use. It's almost doubled in the last year. Huge adoption. Everyone's jumping in.
You see it everywhere.
But, and this is the kicker, the vast majority of companies, like almost all of them, are failing.
Yeah.
They're not converting that explosion in usage into actual meaningful business results.
And that's the paradox right there. AI is everywhere. People say they love using it, but the companies aren't seeing the payoff. Not in profits, not really in innovation, not in overall efficiency.
Okay, let's really unpack this then. If you've got millions of individual employees saying, hey, I am way more productive now, why aren't the organizations seeing the benefit on the balance sheet or in their processes?
Where's all that save time going?
Yeah, where is it?
That is the central question for this whole deep dive. And the data, well, it gives us some very clear and maybe slightly disturbing answers about where the focus has maybe been misplaced.
Okay, but let's start with the good stuff.
Yeah.
Because the individual impact, it's definitely real. This is why there's so much hype.
Absolutely. People feel it personally.
Workers are reporting, on average, being about 33% more productive using AI tools. And they're saving, personally, around 1.3 hours every single day.
Which sounds amazing. If you're using it for emails, summaries, coding help, you feel that boost immediately. It feels like a win.
Totally. But now we have to pivot, like you said, to the corporate reality check.
Right. Because despite those numbers, 1.3 hours saved, 33% more productive, a truly shocking 96% of organizations surveyed said they've seen little or even no improvement in overall efficiency.
Wait, 96%?
96. Or in innovation or even in the quality of the work coming out at the end.
Wow. So for every one company that's actually making it work systemically, there are, what, 24 others?
Pretty much. 24 others who are basically just paying for faster tools but haven't changed the game.
They haven't changed the underlying process at all.
Exactly. And the source really warns about this, that focusing only on personal productivity, making individuals faster, could actually backfire at the system level. Well, think about it like this. You have, say, 100 employees. AI helps each one write reports 33% faster. Great.
That's good.
But if the company process still needs 3 managers to manually sign off on that report, and the report still ends up siloed in 3 different places, nobody can easily access.
Ah, okay. The bottleneck hasn't actually moved.
Precisely. You just have faster reports piling up at the same old bottleneck. The system hasn't gotten more efficient.
That's a brilliant way to put it. The efficiency gets trapped with the individual user. It's like a restaurant analogy, maybe?
Go on.
Like if the chefs get super fast AI ovens and cook everything in 2 minutes flat, but the ordering system keeps crashing, or the waiters can only carry 1 plate at a time, the actual customer experience, the business result, is still terrible.
That is exactly the failure point the research identified. There was this one executive quote in the index that just nailed it.
What did they say?
They said something like, teams are basically operating in the same way, just with some extra bells and whistles. The core systems, the coordination between teams, hasn't really evolved to handle the speed AI can offer.
Okay, so this is where the cost of getting it wrong really hits. And the numbers are, well, they're huge. This isn't just about feeling good saving an hour.
No, this is about real money being left on the table.
The study actually put a number on it, right? They quantified the risk.
They did. Fortune 500 companies alone could be forfeiting as much as $98 billion annually.
$98 billion a year. just from chasing individual time savings instead of fixing the bigger picture.
Exactly. Instead of embedding AI into coordination systems, into the knowledge architecture of the company, that $98 billion honestly might be the most critical number in this whole deep dive.
Wow.
It's the opportunity cost of sticking to the wrong strategy. If companies just treat AI like a supercharged personal assistant.
A better Google search or a faster word.
Yeah, basically. They're leaving almost $100 billion on the table just across the Fortune 500. It forces you, or should force you, to ask, okay, how does this tech change how my teams work together, how they share knowledge?
Because if the knowledge just stays with the individual who used the AI,
The wider organizational benefit just evaporates. It gets neutralized.
so the efficiency gain is blocked by all the usual suspects, the data silos, the manual handoffs, nobody knowing where the central information actually is. Which brings us, thankfully, to the pivot point, the solution. What about that tiny fraction, the 4% of companies who did report transformational benefits?
The outliers.
What are they doing differently? How did they unlock that value?
Well, they essentially cracked the code because they focus on the architecture, not just the automation for individuals.
Okay.
Their goal wasn't just making, Sarah in marketing faster. It was making the whole system smarter. And this came down to 3 key behavioral shifts that really set them apart from the other 96%.
Okay, let's walk through those 3. But I imagine implementing these isn't exactly easy. There must be friction.
Oh, for sure. It definitely requires real investment, strategic thinking, probably some pain, but the payoff seems to justify it. So first, the 4% are connecting AI directly to company-wide knowledge bases.
Right, internal data.
Yes. This is crucial. Their AI isn't just pulling from the public internet. It's accessing their own proprietary stuff, documents, past project outcomes, internal expert knowledge. The AI becomes an expert in that specific company.
Okay, I can immediately see the challenge there.
Yeah.
That means tearing down probably years, maybe decades of internal data silos.
That's the work. And the second key behavior flows right from that. Because they have that connected knowledge, they're setting up genuinely integrated systems that allow for coordination across different teams. It's not just Team A having a cool AI tool over here and Team B having another one over there.
It's connected.
It's about, say, the marketing team and the product development team using the same AI engine, pulling from a shared, standardized data source, making sure they're aligned. The AI acts as a coordinating layer between them.
So if marketing asks the AI, hey, what are the latest features being tested?
Right.
The AI doesn't just spit out a list. It might pull the list, plus the known development risks, the target launch date, maybe the product lead's latest update on delays. It forces alignment.
Exactly right. Instant alignment, potentially. And the third factor that distinguishes these top performers,
Okay.
they treat AI as an active participant in the workflow, not just a passive assistant waiting for a command.
What does that look like? Active participant.
It means the AI might proactively suggest next steps based on the data, or maybe it alerts different teams about dependencies between their projects. It's involved, not just reactive.
That sounds less like everyone having your own secret weapon and more like a shared organizational nervous system.
That's a great analogy. And the data really backs up this approach.
How so?
Well, the firms that focused on this AI-enabled coordination, they were almost twice as likely to report significant overall efficiency gains compared to the companies just targeting simple task automation.
Twice as likely.
Yeah, it really drives home the point. Automation is maybe the entry fee, the baseline, but coordination, that's the real organizational multiplier. If you want to get beyond that 33% individual boost to actual corporate gain, you have to focus on coordination.
Okay, let's zoom in a bit. Because the study highlighted one market where things look pretty different, illustrating what happens when high adoption meets maybe a different cultural approach.
Yes, they pointed specifically to India.
India was identified as a particularly fast-moving market for AI adoption and how it's being used.
Yeah, India really stands out in the global data, and the cultural factors there are quite interesting.
The usage numbers alone tell a story. Look at this. 77% of knowledge workers in India now use AI daily.
77%.
That's a massive jump from 46% just the year before. Compare that to, say, 59% in the US, 54% in Germany. And it's less than half in places like France and Australia.
And weekly usage.
Almost universal in India.
Yeah.
98% use AI at least weekly.
And that intense usage, it translates directly into those high-end productivity figures we talked about. Indian professionals reported saving 112 minutes a day.
Wow, that's almost 2 hours.
Yeah, making them feel about 47% more productive on average. That's way above the global averages. But here's the really critical bit, I think.
What's that?
It's not just the user enthusiasm. It seems to be the leadership support structure.
Okay. How does that manifest? What does that support look like?
Well, a huge majority, 86% of Indian workers, said their leaders actively encouraged them to experiment with AI, play around with it, see what works.
86% encouragement. How does that compare?
Compare that to 75% in the US and almost 66% in France. When the culture says, go ahead, try things, it's okay if it's not perfect, the results just seem to get exponentially better. People aren't afraid to push the tools or, frankly, admit when they fail.
And that cultural difference, that patience, it changes how teams react when the AI inevitably messes up,
Yeah.
right? Because generative AI often gives mediocre results at first.
Constantly. But instead of just giving up and saying, this tool is dumb, teams in India were more likely to focus on refining their approach.
Oh.
The study noted about 30% would refine their prompts, try asking differently, and another 33% would provide the AI with better examples to guide it. They iterated.
So it's like the difference between tossing out a flawed first draft versus actually coaching a junior team member until they get it right.
Exactly. They're treating the AI almost like something that needs better input, better guidance, not just a faulty machine. That commitment to refinement, that's a big marker of a user base that's maturing, willing to invest the effort to make the tools actually work for the organization.
Okay, but even in India, with all that adoption and cultural support, the study implies the same global constraints are still there, right? Which shows how deep this architectural problem really runs.
That's right. It's not like they've magically solved everything. The single biggest operational barrier worldwide, including there, still data access.
What was the number on that?
A massive 91% of workers globally still say their AI tools are constrained because they can't access the right data.
91%.
Mm.
If the AI can't see the whole company picture.
It can't coordinate effectively. It just can't.
And that lack of data access, it leads directly to the risks executives are actually seeing right now.
Yeah, the negative side effects.
If the AI is working blind or maybe hallucinating because it doesn't have context, it produces bad results. More than a third of executives admitted AI has already wasted time.
Or worse, actively misled their teams, leading to rework, fixing mistakes.
Undermining trust in the tool.
Precisely. And this leads straight into the whole shadow IT problem with huge security implications.
So?
Well, because the official company-approved AI tools often don't have the data access people need because of those silos we keep mentioning.
Right.
Workers admitted they just go rogue. They start using unapproved tools, shadow AI, just to get their own tasks done faster.
Which makes the central data problem even worse.
Exactly. It deepens the silos, makes the organizational AI potentially dumber because it's missing even more context, and it creates massive security and compliance risks for the company.
So individual workers are solving their personal productivity crunch by inadvertently creating these huge, hidden, company-wide risks.
It's the perfect storm, really. The ultimate double-edged sword right now.